I am so happy to have one of the true experts in tourism with me, Mary Kay Verba. She is the president and CEO of Dutchess County Tourism in New York State. And you know, so often I hear the word travel expert bantered around, often by people who label themselves as a travel expert, and I'm here to tell you not so much. Because the real experts in travel are the ones who deliver the experiences, the travel products and services, and are there to be able to inform the public and direct them to those experiences in travel that I refer to as the platinum rather than the plastic experiences. You know, I spoke earlier today with Neil Kaplan, who is the president and founder, or the executive director and founder of Bannerman Castle, an historic castle that was built during the Gilded Age on an island in the Hudson River. And you know, to listen to him talk about the realities of some iconic castle here in the Hudson River that has so much more value to bring your children to than, although it's a lot of fun to go to a theme park and pay your heavy-duty admissions at the door, you're going to really have a plastic experience going through castles basically built of styrofoam and Scotch tape. What I'm interested in is that platinum experience, the real deal. And you will find the real deal at every level, wherever your interest is in Dutchess County. And that's one of the reasons that we made a serious effort to be here and meet with the folks in this county and to have Mary Kay Verba with us today. You know, there is just so much always going on here. How do people find out, not just about the ongoing established venues of value to the traveler in Dutchess County, but there are so many events that happen in this county.
We have events going on every weekend, and sometimes there's so many I just decide, well, maybe I'll stay home because I can't make up my mind. But I think we have a pretty good website, DutchessTourism.com. We have great Facebook pages, our social media. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Also, you can sign up for our newsletter that comes out on a monthly basis.
That's valuable.
And it will help to target your interests.
And you can go to sabrams.com, sabrams.com, and travelers411.com. And if you put in Dutchess County, or you put in Mary Kay, and probably Mary Kay will be enough because I can't remember another Mary Kay I've ever interviewed, but certainly Verba, you will get links to the archived audio of every interview we've ever done with anybody in Dutchess County and with Mary Kay. And that'll help give you some serious insights and background, because truly, as I was indicating earlier, the experts in travel are the ones who deliver the products and services that are those that people interested in doing more than just lying about, that really want to have a stellar experience and go home with memories that make them know, well, meet my mission, to introduce you to places where I believe if you go there and you partake of what's available in those destinations, you will return home enriched, enhanced, inspired, and uplifted, and somehow know you're a better person because of the experience you just had. Can you tell me more about, and our viewers, more, Mary Kay, about the relationship between the variety of farmers and people who raise various kinds of vegetation and anything else that winds up at the table?
Well, we have a great farm fresh program in Dutchess County, and a lot of our restaurants now have relationships with our growers, and we have a number of sites and agencies that help to bridge that gap. So if a chef is looking for heirloom tomatoes, there are websites and apps that they can go on to, and they know where the grower is in the county and how they can get them and how quickly it can be delivered to them. And so whether it's tomatoes or cucumbers or peppers or whatever the vegetables may be, or what the product is, our farmers and our restaurateurs really have that great relationship. And the Culinary Institute of America also helps to do that with a lot of research and development. And there's so much technology today that can help really connect those. We also offer twice a year the Hudson Valley Restaurant Week, which highlights an opportunity for our visitors to come.
I learned long ago that you can go someplace that's beautiful, wonderful, glamorous, fabulous, and if the people aren't nice, or the food is terrible, or both of those combined together, as beautiful and wonderful as the place is, there's a real good chance I'm never going back, and I'll bet you're just like me. And two of the things that I think you have learned so far today from Mary Kay Verba, the president and CEO of Dutchess County Tourism in Dutchess County, New York, two of those items are that the people are extraordinary in Dutchess County. And I have found, like where I live in the beautiful Berkshire Mountains of Western Massachusetts, you get inspirational places by their very nature. They attract people who philosophically are on the same page. Mm-hmm. They're creative, and there is just something about them that rolls with the punches, and they see through things very clearly. And often, anytime I've wanted to do something where I live, putting together the right group of people to make it happen and bring it to fruition is not a struggle. And the other piece of it, of course, being the area related to food. This is like a foodie's haven.
Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is, because we have so many great restaurants that have started here in the area, and whether you're in Beacon or Poughkeepsie or Rhinebeck or Millbrook or Armenia or Millerton or Pauling, there's going to be something unique and something different, because they all bring their own twist, their own character, their own ambiance to a place, and then the food that they put out, again, is based on their experience and who they are as a chef and what they like. And I think one of the things that draws so many people here, again, is because of the availability of the freshness of the food and the farms that we have here, and the dairy and our wines and things. So there's really an opportunity for a chef to be as creative as he wants to be with the product that we have.
In addition to the wineries, which have, over time become quite well known and related in relationship to Dutchess County, you've got some craft brewery stuff going here.
We got a lot of craft breweries going, and in fact,
that's
Beacon,
so trendy, fashionable right now.
Well, and it's been a real push through the Taste of New York stores and the Taste of New York program in New York State. That with our breweries, we've got malting houses, we've got hops being grown locally, because Dutchess County pre-30s, was a great natural hop area for that product. But we've got a brewery right here in Beacon, New York, that specializes in sour beers. We've got some other breweries up in Mill Street and Poughkeepsie that are now expanding and canning beers, and so you can buy them on the shelf.
Cool.
So,
do these places do tours and things?
Absolutely. They all do tours.
Because I don't drink. I mean, I drink, but nothing alcoholic really, because I save my calories for hot fudge. But I find I've probably been to every kind of distillery there is in the world, whether it's tequila, or it's the single malt trail in Scotland, or it's the Irish whiskey trail, or rum in the islands of the Caribbean. It's a fascinating thing to go through and see how the simplest of products turns out to be something that puts delight on the faces of so many.
Well, it is, and again, there's so many good experiments going on. We have the barrel whiskeys, we have the apple brandies, we have
Apple brandy, boy, that sounds
it's
good.
with French method, you know, that they're using. We've got some of the maple because of our maple trees, maple syrups being made with beer, and then some of that going into whiskeys and vice versa. We've got some good malted beers.
How do you keep up with all this?
Well, you know,
I mean, this is really a hotbed percolating and bubbling over with so much. How do you stay on top of it?
well, I've got a good staff. That's a really great staff that works together, and you know, we're always on the lookout for when we see something new. We're out in the community a lot. We try and go out into each community a couple of times a quarter to make sure that people are, you know, and we're always out there communicating. And we've got other people. We've got a great board of directors from all over the county, and they'll call us up and say, hey, are you aware that this restaurant's opened up? Or, you know, our economic development people, we work with the Think Dutchess Business Alliance, and when new people are coming in, they're introducing us. You know, soon we're going to have a sake company, so we're going to be one of the first producers that's making sake here in Dutchess County.
On that happy note, check out the website, and it is
DutchessTourism.com.
Stay with me. Hi, I'm Stephanie Abrams, here in this bookshop to do a wonderful book signing. And why? Because everybody's interested in Rumors, my novel of suspense, intrigue, love, lust, and conspiracies and lies, and an ending you'll never see coming. Give it a shot. You'll find it at every online bookseller. Look for Rumors by Stephanie Abrams and enjoy. We've got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned for more. There's a reason that the designation for Dutchess County is distinctly Dutchess. And I have to add in front of that, delightfully distinctly Dutchess, because it truly is. There is something for everybody, for the outdoorsy person, for the artist in you, for the historian, for people who enjoy museums and manor houses and historic homes. And you've got everything from the rustic, almost pioneer, colonial level to the dramatically Gilded Age homes. And one of those Gilded Age homes is open to visit, open to view, and open to you, and you really have to make an opportunity. I have with me Donald Fraser. Donald his title is educator, and I've gotten just the best education in the little bit of time I've had to chat with him before I was lucky enough to be able to share him with you. And we are here at the Staatsburg State Historic Site. Exactly where in Dutchess County are we, Donald?
Well, we're overlooking the Hudson River. We're right on the river here in Dutchess County. We're between the villages of Rhinebeck and Hyde Park, conveniently located to the New York State Thruway.
No kidding, because Hyde Park is one of those wonderful places to catch up on not only your snooping around historic homes, but getting an education on Franklin Delano Roosevelt and his family. And Rhinebeck is one of those cutesy places that you go with adorable boutique shops and film festivals and all kinds of events that are always going on there. So conveniently located to New York City that even if you're in New York City for a short period of time, you know, you can pick up a car if you've flown in, or you can hop the train and you take Amtrak and pick up a car when you get into Dutchess County and roam around, and clearly there's much to look at. How long have you been associated with this fine establishment?
I've been here about 8 years.
Wow. What did you do before?
Well, I worked at a few other historic sites, including George Washington's headquarters in Newburgh, and it's a second career for me. I used to work in human services.
Well, you're still dealing with humans.
I still am.
Yes, you're still dealing in human services of a unique kind. Let's get some insights into this unbelievable house. Who lived here?
The heroine of our story is Ruth Livingston Mills, who lived here in the late 1800s and the early 1900s.
She knew how to live, honey.
She knew how to live. Her goal was to be the queen of New York's Gilded Age society, and that's the story we tell here in her beautiful 79-room house.
Wow, 79 rooms. What do you do with 79 rooms?
She filled it with guests. She threw lavish parties
Wow.
here. It's like a hotel.
Wow. How many bathrooms are there?
There are 14 bathrooms, so I could say 65 rooms and 14 bathrooms.
Aha, okay. So the bathrooms are big enough to count as a room.
They are, they are. At the turn of the century, this was luxury living. Hot and cold running water, electricity, which they made here at the site, and central heating.
Wow. You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I was recently interviewing someone on the Dingle Peninsula in Ireland whose family started a B&B in the 1970s, and at that time, their business card and their promotional material, the big thing they had to promote was that they had central heating.
Yes.
So
yes.
this was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, at the era when Ruth Mills lived here, American heiresses were marrying European aristocrats,
of course,
and going to these freezing cold castles and bringing in bathrooms and central heating with the American money.
Wow. Well, yeah, there was that, you know, it's funny when you think about it. Until probably the late 1950s, early 1960s, a trip to Europe was exclusively for somebody that was a millionaire.
Yeah, and here you see an example of a family that went to Europe every year because they owned a house in Paris. So every spring they went off to Paris to a much bigger house than this.
Now there's a life to aspire to. You know, that's usually when I turn to someone who tells me about, you know, they're living that kind of life today, and my question is always, are you adopting?
Well, you've got to marry well.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And here,
but she wasn't a poor lady either.
No. Ruth Mills came from many generations of rich landowners. Then she married Ogden Mills, who was into banking and finance, and he was an industrial giant. So Ruth Mills, who was a very rich woman, married a very, very wealthy man.
Was there love there?
We think there was. We think it's a love story. Not like so many of these Gilded Age romances where they get married, an heir is produced, and then the husband and wife go off in their separate ways. No, we think they were in love. There's a touching story about when Ruth Mills died in Paris, and Ogden Mills brought her home to be buried in the family plot here in Hyde Park. And the family says that he never left her stateroom filled with flowers, and the whole voyage he stayed with her.
That's very sweet. That is very sweet. So clearly he cared, and she did as well. That's a nicer thing than just in love with money.
Yes, absolutely. We think theirs is a real love story.
How many, when the visitor comes to Dutchess County, how many of the rooms in this wonderful house are open to view?
We see about 20 rooms. It's a long tour. We've got a lot to say about it. So the tours here are about an hour.
And for, you know, I'm always concerned about people with mobility challenges. And you have a wonderful ramp outside that makes it easy to, you know, enter the marble facade, and the outside's gorgeous, and then come in. But are the 14 rooms all accessible to people who have mobility challenges?
We bend over backwards to try to make the tours as accessible as we can.
Super.
Because we're conscious of the fact that the house was not built with modern amenities. We can't bring people upstairs who have mobility problems, so they don't see the bedrooms upstairs, but there are bedrooms on the main floor.
Oh, good. That's wonderful. So what is it that we need to know about this phenomenal house? I mean, it's so reminiscent. The first of my travel TV with Stephanie Abrams TV shows is about Malta in the Mediterranean, and there's quite a segment about the Cathedral of St. John. And I have to tell you, whoever the architect designed this room specifically was clearly influenced by the Cathedral of St. John from a number of points of view. One, because of these flat columns that are greenish stone, just like the ones in the Cathedral of St. John, and the capitals on these columns are flat Corinthian capitals, again, and gilded, just like in that cathedral. And to some degree, there are two Caravaggio paintings in the Cathedral of St. John that were a gift to the Order of the Knights of St. John, who protected him from the Romans, because he was a bad boy, Caravaggio, and he asked them to protect him. And in exchange for their kindness of stowing him away and not letting harm come to him, he painted two paintings. One is about, well, it's the height of the tapestry here on to the left of me, but it's longer. It's like 27 feet long and 15 feet high, and so even that size and placement is reminiscent of the, well, you have to show you pictures.
Please.
But for all of you who are watching, go to episode 1, Malta, Magnificent Malta, and you will see the relationship. So while as much as I'd love to see you go to Malta, you can just come to Dutchess County and get the feeling that you get from, you know, that kind of a visit. This is a magnificent, I'd like to throw a party in here. Do you do that sort of thing?
Well, right here in the dining room.
This is the dining room.
Yes, in the wintertime, we had teas.
Wait a second. How long was the dining table? How many could it seat?
The dining room table could seat 24, but we know that they entertained 100 once for their daughter's wedding.
Oh, you could easily.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big room. This is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So you have high tea here.
We do have...
How often does that happen?
That happens about once a month in the winter. And then from April through December, we're open for regular tours, and the dining room table is set just about where we are, where it was historically. And we'll do a beautiful Gilded Age table setting.
Well, in honor of that, I'll have a bit of my tea.
Please. And I love your points about Malta. That's exactly what your hostess at the turn of the century, Ruth Mills, was trying to convey, that this is like being in a European castle.
Oh, it is. Oh, without doubt. I mean, and that was such a fad to do. I mean, that's why you see what you see in Newport and even the Berkshire cottages where we live in Western Massachusetts. The wealthy industrialists making money hand over fist from steel and from railroads and from mining and from everything else going on in America were able to take that money and build themselves the life they aspire to, like their European peers in wealth, but not peers in royal lineage and whatnot. And so
that's it. These Gilded Age Americans were aspiring to be American aristocrats. They were making money on a scale that had never been seen before in America. And that would come again, although there are some people managing it in spite of everything we hear all the time. So that's really remarkable. Do you have a favorite room? There's so many favorite rooms. Hard to pick an absolute favorite. Ruth Mills' fabulous bedroom is hard to top. It's covered in silk, not wallpaper. Covered in silk, and the walls are 18 feet high. It's a lot of silk.
Was the silk imported from China?
Most of the fabrics here were French fabrics.
Okay.
The best that money could buy.
Because that was very popular at the time. And in fact, there is a house, it's one of the Berkshire cottages bought by a friend who went through making the house look like it looked in the early 1900s. And I was there the day the craftsman was putting up the wood furring strips, laying in the batting like you'd lay into a quilt you were going to then stitch, and then putting the silk over. It's quite a process. And it was gorgeous when it was done, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, and for them that was routine. You know, what's the best thing that could happen in this room? People like the Millses would say to their famous architect, in this case Stanford White, one of America's greatest
Oh, for heaven's
architects.
sakes.
Yes.
His granddaughter tragically was killed in an accident a day or two after her high school graduation.
Oh, my goodness.
And lived where we lived in Smithtown, New York. And so, we had, and had inherited all of her grandfather's creativity. But his name pops up everywhere I go. So what is it he did here?
Stanford White was the architect.
Wow.
Yep.
No wonder it's fabulous.
Yep. It's Ruth Mills' childhood home, and it was a smaller home. It was a 25-room mansion. And with Ruth's aspirations to be queen of society, 25 rooms, it's just not going to do. So she hired Stanford White to build around the 25-room house. She wouldn't let him tear it down. That's her bragging rights. She's living in her ancestral home on the Hudson River.
Well, yes, and however this was accomplished, you don't have the feeling that something blew on in a windstorm.
Right.
We've got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned for more. Hi, I'm Stephanie Abrams, here in this bookshop to do a wonderful book signing. And why? Because everybody's interested in Rumors, my novel of suspense, intrigue, love, lust, and conspiracies and lies, and an ending you'll never see coming. Give it a shot. You'll find it at every online bookseller. Look for Rumors by Stephanie Abrams and enjoy.
We're in the town of Hyde Park, close to the village of Rhinebeck.
In New York
beautiful
State.
Hudson Valley.
Yeah, and you may remember the name Hyde Park because of FDR's home, which is a delight to visit. And I have to admit, I haven't been there in years, probably in decades, but we used to go on a really frequent basis. I mean, it was like a gorgeous spring day. Let's go up to Hyde Park. And if I had, thought about it, we would have come here more often too, because this is a grand and glorious, uplifting, inspiring house. Are there days of the year when you are not open?
We are open Thursday through Sunday, April through October. We close for 3 weeks to decorate for the holidays. We close for the first 3 weeks of November, and then we do a big December, Thanksgiving to December 31st. We decorate to the hilt in Gilded Age style. That's our busiest season.
Well, somewhere between after Thanksgiving and the first week in December, I am going to make tracks, and probably with our good friends at Amtrak who make it easy, and get myself to this house to see it in glorious Christmas time decor, because that always adds something special, especially Gilded Age decor, because it's fluffier. It's very different from what we normally would see. So that's grand. What didn't I ask you that our audience should know about?
Well, Stephanie, I would say that one of the things that makes this house unique is it's a time capsule. The things you see in this house are the Mills' belongings. When you walk through the door here, it's like walking into 1900.
Oh, it is. It is quite remarkable. And all of the tables and the candelabra and the tapestries and sofas and chairs and whatnot, these are all original from the family?
Yes. The Mills' daughter, with astonishing generosity, left the house intact and gave it as a memorial to her parents.
What a lovely thing to do. What a lovely thing to do. That's really very touching, because far too often you visit historic homes and they're empty. And somebody either pilfered everything or sold it off and made some money and pocketed it and left. And the historical society associated with the establishment goes out of their way to try to buy back things, which becomes very costly because all these people in the middle want to make a profit, and often what you're seeing are reproductions of or things from the period that would have been you're not seeing the real deal.
It's 79 rooms in the house, We see about 20 rooms. It's a long tour, about an hour, so there's plenty to see here. They had twin daughters, Gladys and Beatrice. The reason that Gladys inherited...
Is that Gladys spelled,
Yes,
pronounced
it is.
funny?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Her twin sister Beatrice was not here. Her twin sister Beatrice, like so many Gilded Age American heiresses, married into European aristocracy. She married King Edward's Master of Horse, and she was living in a castle in Ireland. So
Do you know
Gladys
which one?
inherited. Yes, but that's one of those off the top of your head questions that I'll...
Would you know where in Ireland?
Forbes, Castle Forbes.
And where is that?
I don't know.
We're going to find out together. That's a fascinating American connection we should know about.
Absolutely.
All right, and we're going to check it out. It's always nice when I learn something too. I want to thank you so much, Donald Fraser, for joining us today. You have been a wealth, really a goldmine of information. We are going to come back and we're going to haunt this place like one of the ghosts that walks the halls. So, because I really want to see more, know more, and become an expert on, I'm still learning to say the whole big long name, Stratford State Historic Site in Hyde Park, New York, in wonderful Dutchess County. Stay with me.
And it was called Walkway over the Hudson. And they had this crazy idea that they were going to turn it into a walkway. It's a 1.28 miles long. It's 210 feet above the Hudson River. It's quite phenomenal. It's unique and it's interesting, and people, frankly, thought they were crazy. Who's going to come? It's going to cost millions of dollars. Who wants to walk across the bridge? Well, you know, 10 years later, after it opened, to the tune of $38 million, over 4 million people have taken that walk.
Wow. But your organization has been very clever about creating events and reasons. It's not just build it and they will come. It's build them and give them really good reasons to come and they will come. And you've been really good about that.
Well, thank you. We've got a great partnership with New York State Parks. They take the heavy lifting of running the park every day, of opening it and closing it and keeping it safe for this 4 million people. So we get to do all the bells and whistles, raise funds to make improvements, break Guinness World Records with 2,525 people doing the hokey pokey. We get to,
on the bridge.
On the bridge.
At the same time.
Yeah, at the same time.
That had to be something.
Yeah, it was fun. We get to shoot fireworks off on the river and have 4,000 people come up and watch fireworks. We get
Do boats line up on the river to watch too?
Yeah,
That's
boats.
gotta be cool. But I will come and you and I will go and play on the bridge together.
All right. All right.
And that, on the promise that you will come and be our guest at Tanglewood.
I would love to.
That would be fun.
And
then you can come to my studio.
Yes.
And we can sit down and have a chat there. I'm really looking forward to actually experiencing what it is like to be on the walkway over the Hudson. How wide is the Hudson River at that point?
The Hudson River is about less than a mile wide at that point, but it's such a deep river, 150 feet in some points, and the uniqueness of it is on the west you have Ulster County, the Catskill Mountains. So you have a beautiful view shed that's been protected by environmentalists. The environmental movement started by Scenic Hudson and others in the Hudson Valley. And to the east you have the city of Poughkeepsie, which still has many charms from when it was built in the 1800s. So you have this urban side on the east, and you have a more rural side on the west. But just the expanse that you're able to see when you look up and down the river and across, it's a very unique experience. And people come for a lot of reasons. It's become a real gathering point. We call it the Great Connector. It was called the Great Connector when it opened in 1889 because it brought together the industrial Northeast with the raw goods from the Midwest. And now it's a great connector of people of different generations, people of different ethnic groups, people of different ages. People are out there because they have physical disabilities, and this is a completely accessible park. They're out there because they're marathon runners and they're training. They're out there because our family and our friends come from other countries, and we always take them to the walkway. It's just can't be missed. We have lots of events on the Walkway. It's a big, well-used, popular park, and it's can be rented, and state parks would love that revenue. It can be rented for a private occasion.
Oh, that is very cool. Think about that, people. That is very cool.
Yeah. But we have family reunion groups out all the time. We have Vassar College reunions coming out all the time. We have birthdays. We have a fair number of engagements, and we've captured some of them.
Oh, what a nice place to propose.
Have some weddings. So those happen usually right during opening hours and right in public. We have all sorts of walks and runs for a number of causes. Alzheimer's and suicide prevention and child abuse prevention and AIDS walk and the Alzheimer's walk. I think I said that.
But is there something we should learn from that?
I hope not. No, I don't think so. So those groups have raised millions of dollars for other nonprofits in the region. So we're very proud of those events that happen on the Walkway. We will have 4 stargazing evenings this year.
That is spectacular.
We're going to have some astronomers come out, tell us what we're seeing. We're going to dim the lights for a little bit and have it when the moon is not full. We've had full moon walks for 6 years now, actually 7 years. I think the first year we opened, we started moon walks as a way to get people out after dark. So, so the bridge opened, and just like you said, we didn't know how many people would come, but they're coming. We're out almost 600,000 people a year. We partner with everybody, Dutchess Tourism and Ulster Tourism and all kinds of groups in the mid-Hudson Valley to promote it. People come to the Walkway only for a couple hours, so we want them then to go to FDR, and go to Mills Mansion, and travel around Dutchess County and see what else is here. So it's a magnet, not an anchor. We talked about that yesterday.
Yes, and so and FDR would be the home of Franklin Delano Roosevelt and at Hyde Park.
Yes, right up the street at Hyde Park.
When you say right up the street,
it's like 8 miles.
Wow.
Not even 8 miles.
Wow.
I drive through there just every day to and from work. It's just next to Hyde Park is Rhinebeck. All kinds of things there too. So.
Well, and I'm looking forward to dropping by there and visiting. I haven't been there in decades. I used to go there with my family, and then when I was married, we used to run away for weekends. That would be one of the places we'd always stop. And then, of course, once we had children, we had to bring them to experience it. It really is an amazing piece of history. We're going to take a quick break and come right back. Don't leave me. I'm talking with Elizabeth Waldstein-Hart, who's the executive director of Walkway Over the Hudson in beautiful Dutchess County, New York, a place you've got to go to, people. This must be the version for a giant of my book, Rumors. Rumors by Stephanie Abrams, filled with love and lust and lies, intrigue, secrets, and a whodunit. Check out your favorite online bookseller, Rumors by Stephanie Abrams. This must be the version for a giant of my book, Rumors. Rumors by Stephanie Abrams, filled with love and lust and lies, intrigue, secrets, and a whodunit. Check out your favorite online bookseller, Rumors by Stephanie Abrams. We've got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned for more. I learned long ago that you can go someplace that's beautiful, wonderful, glamorous, fabulous, and if the people aren't nice, or the food is terrible, or both of those combined together, as beautiful and wonderful as the place is, there's a real good chance I'm never going back, and I'll bet you're just like me. And two of the things that I think you have learned so far today from Mary Kay Verba, the president and CEO of Dutchess County Tourism in Dutchess County, New York, two of those items are that the people are extraordinary in Dutchess County. And I have found, like where I live in the beautiful Berkshire Mountains of Western Massachusetts, you get inspirational places by their very nature. They attract people who philosophically are on the same page. You know, they're creative, and you know, there is just something about them that rolls with the punches, and you know, they see through things very clearly. And often, you know, anytime I've wanted to do something where I live, you know, putting together the right group of people to make it happen and bring it to fruition is not a struggle. You know, this is like a foodie's haven.
Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is, because we have so many great restaurants that have started here in the area, and whether you're in Beacon or Poughkeepsie or Rhinebeck or Millbrook or Armenia or Millerton or Pauling, there's going to be something unique and something different, because they all bring their own twist, their own character, their own ambiance to a place, and then the food that they put out, again, is based on their experience and who they are as a chef and what they like. And I think one of the things that draws so many people here, again, is because of the availability of the freshness of the food and the farms that we have here, and the dairy and our wines and things. So there's really an opportunity for a chef to be as creative as he wants to be with the product that we have.
You know, in addition to the wineries, which have, you know, over time become quite well known and related in relationship to Dutchess County, you've got some craft brewery stuff going here.
We got a lot of craft breweries going, and in fact,
That's
Beacon,
so trendy, fashionable right now.
well, and you know, it's been a real push through the Taste of New York stores and the Taste of New York program in New York State. That with our breweries, we've got malting houses, we've got hops being grown locally, because Dutchess County pre-30s, you know, was a great natural hop area for that product. But we've got a brewery right here in Beacon, New York, that specializes in sour beers. We've got some other breweries up in Mill Street and Poughkeepsie that are now expanding and canning beers, and so you can buy them on the shelf.
Cool.
So
do these places do tours and things?
Absolutely. They all do
I always
tours.
find, I don't drink. I mean, I drink, but nothing alcoholic really, because I save my calories for hot fudge. But I find I've probably been to every kind of distillery there is in the world, whether it's, you know, tequila, or it's the single malt trail in Scotland, or it's the Irish whiskey trail, or, you know, rum in the islands of the Caribbean. It's a fascinating thing to go through and see how the simplest of products turns out to be something that puts delight on the faces of so many.
Well, it is, you know, and again, you know, there's so many good experiments going on. We have the barrel whiskeys, we have the apple brandies, we have
apple brandy, boy, that sounds
it's
good.
with French method, you know, that they're using. We've got some of the maple, because of our maple trees, maple syrups being made with beer, and then some of that going into whiskeys and vice versa. We've got some good malted beers.
How do you keep up with all this?
Well, you know,
I mean, this is really a hotbed percolating and bubbling over with so much. How do you stay on top of it?
well, I've got a good staff. That's a really great staff that works together, and you know, we're always on the lookout for when we see something new. We're out in the community a lot. We try and go out into each community a couple of times a quarter to make sure that people are, you know, and we're always out there communicating. And we've got other people. We've got a great board of directors from all over the county, and they'll call us up and say, hey, are you aware that this restaurant's opened up? Or, you know, our economic development people, we work with the Think Dutchess Business Alliance, and when new people are coming in, they're introducing us. You know, soon we're going to have a sake company, so we're going to be one of the first producers that's making sake here in Dutchess County.
On that happy note, check out the website, and it is
DutchessTourism.com.
Who had the vision for this place?
So my father-in-law, Bob McAlpine, well, David Rockwell, is from the general area, and he threw his hat into the ring to design the place.
Oh, wow.
So he gave us
I should have guessed.
yeah, he gave us a good deal on it. So and we ran with it, and he designed a beautiful property, and we just implemented it.
It's incredibly special. And yet, it's very understated, which is wonderful because clutter is not relaxing. And there is something very soothing about walking into uncluttered space.
The sound of water helps as well.
Oh, no kidding. And you know, folks, we use incredibly sensitive microphones, so you might actually be hearing a kind of rumbling, humming in the background. That's those rapids I was talking about. Where did the hour go? Come back next week. Gotta fly now. Hi, I'm Stephanie Abrams, and you know I love to go traveling, and I bet you do too, and that's why you're watching. But if you're going traveling, there are some things that you absolutely need. One is a passport, and another is something to entertain you, perhaps other than a video game while you're traveling. Maybe when you crawl in bed at night, or while you're on an airplane, or maybe waiting at the airport. Try Rumors by Stephanie Abrams. You'll find it at every online bookseller. It's a story of intrigue, mystery, love, lust, romance, and all wrapped up in rumors in a community where people like to talk about one another. And the end result, you'll never see coming. It's full of twists and turns, fast-paced, and people just love it. Go read the reviews and get yourself a copy for traveling with. Rumors by Stephanie Abrams.